Hey, scholars, let's look at the test, the conjecture. But before we do, let's look at our conjecture for today. Fractions with powers of 10 in the denominator can be written as decimal fractions using place value. Okay, so that means it needs to be a power of a 10. So that could be 10, and that means we would know to put the number in the tens place. It could be 100 because that's a power of 10. That's when we have two powers of 10, 10 times 10. And it could be 1,000 and so on, right? But the farthest we're going to go for right now is going to be 1,000. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at our test of conjecture. Amy needs to write the fraction 50 over 100 as a decimal fraction. What decimal fraction can she write? Okay, so this 100 tells us where the place value is going to be at. So I'm going to start writing this number. And the last number is going to be the number that should land on that spot. Okay, so the 0 should land in the hundreds place. So right now the 5's in the tens place. And if I were to write the 0, well, it would be in the hundreds place. So this is actually the decimal fraction that we could write. Now, there's other ways that we could have wrote this as well. This one makes the most sense because this is 50 over 100s. But one thing to understand is, and I'm going to actually go back to the fraction to help us make this connection. If you remember from lessons 3 and 4, what we did is we divided or multiplied to create an equivalent fraction. So right here, I'm going to go ahead and divide both the numerator and the denominator by 10 over 10, right? 10 over 10 is equal to 1. And if I divide it by 10 over 10, I am going to get, and I'll write it over here, I'm going to get 5 over 10. So these are equivalent. 50 over 100 is equivalent to 5 over 10. So I could actually write this as 5 tenths, okay? Because the 10 tells us where the place value is at, and the 5 is the number of units being represented. So to take that a step further, that would mean that 50 hundredths is also equal to 5 tenths. And there's a lot of other examples that we can do. Another one that is equal is going to be 5 thousandths. And if we were to write 5 thousandths as a fraction, that would be 500 over 1,000. Okay. And I believe this concept, when we multiply and divide it, was actually lessons 4 and 5. Okay, but it's definitely some of the earlier lessons that we did in Unit 1. Okay, question number 2. Amy now wants to write the portion of the decimal grid shaded below two ways. Write the amount shown as a fraction and a decimal fraction. Okay, so some of you might notice this is divided into 100 parts, but we could count it as well. If you count this is tens, and then we got 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. So our denominator is 100. And then we would count the number of parts that are shaded in. And up to here we have 60. And I'm sorry, that's 7, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. Yep, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77. So we have 77 hundredths. And I can write this out as a decimal. Remember, this tells us where the place value is going to be at. So the 7 is going to land in that hundreds place, the second one. So 77 hundredths.